Sass is great. I can set one time what my pink, what my red, what my orange is on the website, and then I can link which primary color to use, which info color to use, all of this, all my shades of gray. I can set it one time, and then throughout my custom file, I can reference specific colors by their name rather than use the code. That way I can change it one place and my whole theme, my whole website changes. That's the advantage of using Sass in a very well organized way. And most themes come with this. So even if you use a different theme other than the one that comes with Flaskini, you should be set up to do this. The trick though is once you get your custom CSS set up and it imports your base styles and then allows you to overwrite some of the core styles with some of your own custom CSS or Sass. You need to then compile that because this is the file that actually is being used by our base HTML, our base template theme file rather. And so somewhere if I went into templates and base, you can find the reference right here to our custom CSS. Sass isn't actually used by our browser. It's just the stuff that gets compiled, and it's just more convenient to work in. But we need to use a command, and there's an easy command here to say, hey, look at this file and compile it to this location. We don't want to compile all of our Sass files, so we need to be careful that we don't go around converting everything because that'll create a lot of extra files. Really, because they're all linked together, you can see these partials. These are helping us indicate that they're all connected here, which is then connected right here. And so I just compiled this one file to this location, and I'm done. I don't know how to do that in source layer quite yet. It's giving me a funny error, but I will now show you how to set this up inside Visual Studio Code. The same files here that I did in source layer, and I'm using Git to keep the two projects in the cloud and on my local machine in sync. So I'm good there. So I'm looking to compile this guy, and I'm using an extension here. So I use Sass Live Compiler. There's all sorts of others that you can use. So once you get this set up, you'll get this button down here to walk Sass. Don't press it. Oh my gosh, you're going to create so many extra files. Here, let me ruin everything. I'll show you. And so I press that, and now if I see my terminal window, Control tilde, and look at my output, you can see it's generating tons of stuff. So it's compiling everything. So I made 20 new files, converted all my Sass files into CSS files. That's not helpful at all. Where it converted CSS, the Sass file to CSS, is in the wrong folder too. That's not very helpful. So I made extra files. What I'm going to do now is click. Well, first stop watching, and then highlight all of these and discard changes. So that way, get all the changes that have been made since my last commit are now gone. So I'm now, if I went here, I could do git status, and it'd say no changes. You've got no unsaved differences between this and my stuff in the cloud. Notice a hidden folder that doesn't get synced with Git, so it's only going to change this particular my local environment as settings.json. So this right here shows me my virtual environment, so that's why it's automatically active for me. That's very helpful. But I can also add some settings to change how my Sass is watched. So in addition to this setting, I'm going to add a comma because I want to add some new settings. And I just basically Googled these, and so I'll paste that, and now I have what to include, and it's not a Sass folder, it's an SCSS folder. So SCSS folder and look for that custom file. And then I don't need a map. The format, I'll make it compressed, turn into SCSS. And actually, I'm looking for extension name. In particular, it's got to be min.scss. So I want you to add the min to it too, because it's looking for that. And then put it in that folder. Okay. Alright, so I'll save that. Now, if I activate the Walk Sass with these settings in place, it shouldn't create all sorts of files. Shouldn't make any change actually, because it doesn't see any change happening to this file here. But if I went, so I can make this a little more sassy. For example, because hero is already here, if I move this inside, that's the same thing, because it's saying inside hero also look for image. That I can combine only because of Sass. That this doesn't work in normal CSS, but it does in SCSS. So if I save this, it should now detect the change, and yep, I can see I have a new min CSS, and it should be more compressed than it was before. Yep. So now it's a little bit more minified, should hopefully load faster, and now, I mean, marginally faster, we wouldn't notice. But it's now set up so I can work on styling my app, changing my colors, and all of that should be updated right away. So actually, let's give it a quick test. Inside my, let's see here, the colors variables here, my primary is orange. Let's change it to pink, and so I should be able to see a galloping change right away. There we go. And so now I'll run my app, Flask run, load it up, and my primary color still looks like it's orange. Inspect. Button primary is still orange. I think I know what the problem is. The issue is that I made a change to variables, and I don't think it triggered the update to recompile all my Sass, because I'm only watching this file and outputting to this file. So a change to this one did not trigger the change. But I think if I, let's say, just change a minor thing and save it, and then that would recompile the file, hopefully catching the new variable change. Let's see if that debugged it. Yep, there it is. Control-Shift-R to reload all the files, and now my primary color has been altered. So, cool.